Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Warcraft news, where, turns out, if we sleuth into some of the data, well, I do have an update for you on the road to Dragonflight Alpha, so I'll kick off today's episode with that. Now, this is not one that's quite as straightforward as you may see in some of the headlines, and it does take a bit of technical know-how. Thankfully, wizards like Marlerman are there to communicate what it all means to us mere mortals. So, the Internal Development Alpha client, WoWDev, on the Blizzard CDN and Battle.net launcher just had its name changed from Shadowlands Internal Alpha to Dragonflight Internal Alpha. That sounds pretty damn good, eh? However, do keep in mind that this Internal Alpha client has actually been running the same Dragonflight build since April 22nd, meaning this is merely a formality, a name change. But still, it is exciting. I mean, somebody went in and they changed that name, right? So I think this means that Blizzard could indeed be preparing for the distribution of internal alpha access to friends and family, which usually happens like 1 to 2 months before the rest of us end up getting to see it. A very public example of that was actually Battle for Azeroth. And of course, after that, then of course you get the public alpha and beta. So support was also added for the WoW Vendor 3 and 4 products on the CDN 2, though those are basically, they're not meant for public use, those are encrypted things. So basically, nothing super soon, but we are getting there. And it does line up with other things. After the unveiling of this expansion, Blizzard said that they would post talent previews in the run-up to the alpha. And we've seen them do that, so we are almost there. Speaking of there, it's June! We're in June! That does mean there's a new wave of Patreon loot. I actually don't have it on me, but man, dragons, it's awesome stuff. And I'll tell you what, I've got some new reasons to be very excited about what we've been doing in Patreon this year that I can't exactly communicate to you, but if all goes well, at a quick little meeting I have with the powers that be tomorrow, certainly at least the first little trio will hopefully be imbued with more meaning than maybe we all originally anticipated when they first came out. So, hey, wish me luck with that meeting tomorrow, and if it all goes well, maybe in 6 to 9 months, something will happen. Okay, let's talk about talent trees. Late last week, we got our first glimpse at the brand new talent trees that are coming in the Dragonflight expansion. Now, it was only Druid and DK, but of course, I'd say expect more to be posted in the lead up to the alpha. Now, Blizzard also detailed their basic design philosophy here. And look, for the most part, it actually does sound quite good. Their main goal is to increase player agency over your character's progression and build, in addition to providing us with some meaningful rewards while leveling, which I think is going to feel so much better for new players of the game, and it's going to help them understand and build their, how their class plays as they level up. I think that'll be so much of a better experience. And they also say, reinforcing your character's connection to both their class and spec. Look, it sounds good, right? Sounds good, makes sense. You know, promising, but I think a lot of people have gradually lost trust in Blizzard over multiple expansions, so ultimately this is going to be judged by how these actually feel and play. But they're putting these out early for our perusal and our feedback, and that is a really damn good initial indicator. There's also been a few attempts at building talent calculators since the announcement. The most promising one we've seen so far is over at Mythic Trap, so check it out if you want to play around with these for yourself. As for my take here, well, there's, there are a few cases where maybe you'll feel a bit pigeonholed into a certain direction, but I actually think it's a really good first effort. Now, the Druids and the DKs have, of course, been providing excellent, super detailed feedback that I won't go into here. But look, just seeing Blizzard be open about this is lovely. And I would say, when you actually think about the basic design tools that are within this talent system, what they have to play with is awesome. So, number one, there's the amount of verticality they put in. Number two, how horizontal they are. Then, all the different connections of the different talents. Then, there are the thresholds, right? So, you can only go, say, beyond this line if you've spent 20 talents thus far. That kind of prevents people from just tunneling down into things, which will kind of help to naturally broaden out people's selections a bit. Then there's the octagons. The little octagonal ones, you click on them and you could get like 2 or 3 different abilities. You know, you get a choice. So that actually means that the current selection-based talent system is essentially baked into the talent system that they have now, the new one. So this is basically them taking, I mean, all the toys and being able to put them into one system. And it means that Blizzard can design these trees with so much specificity, right? They're like, okay, we can't have this and that. We'll put it in an octagon. Or, you know, just think about it, right? Like, as designers, they have so much more design freedom than they would have had with the post-Mists of Pandaria one, where it was very much just fitting into a very obvious format. But with this, they just have more tools in the box. I think that means that there's probably going to be times where maybe in the past they would have had a real hard dilemma of like, you know, what do we do? This doesn't really fit our current design. Whereas here, it's like they could put it in an octagon. They could put it different level verticality, you know, a different level in terms of, you know, how horizontal a trait or an ability is in the tree. So I just think it will let them achieve whatever their design goals are better. And I also think that the split between class and spec, I think that really helps Blizzard get around some problems that the first attempt at talents from, you know, vanilla through to Cataclysm ended up having. So, could it be a best of both worlds? I don't know. Certainly possible. Next, though, I've got something super awesome. We are seeing awesome stuff from ex-Blizzard devs, in this case, for the lead story, from the World of Warcraft team. And I am so excited about this. So during the OTK Games Expo event on Wednesday, Notorious Studios, they are an ex-Blizzard, you know what? Powerhouse. They're awesome, right? So they're headed up by Chris Kalecki. They announced their very first project, which is Project Honor. Now, I'll be straight up. I really like these guys. I have chatted to them. I've been on a call with a bunch of them. So look, I know their vision. I really like it. I mean, from what I saw, like, Eric and Cole's art is amazing, and you have seen so much of their art, with, like, the big World of Warcraft, like, splash art and stuff before. Colin Volrath, he's in the team, and if I remember correctly, he either was leading efforts on the construction of Borealis, or he, like, just built loads of it, and that's just a small selection. They've got a really, really cool team. So, Project Honor is a class-based online action RPG where you're basically going on adventures, solo or with friends. You're getting loot, resources, gearing out your character, that sort of thing. So that I don't overspeak, I am going to focus on grabbing quotes for you. So they're in the very early stages. Chris states that their guiding star is class fantasy. Of course, Chris is a class designer on World of Warcraft. I believe one of the last class-related things that he did on WoW. First of all, I'm pretty sure he led Monk. Also, the Shadow Priest revamp for this expansion, which I thought was pretty damn sweet, amongst many other things. So, he says it's going to feature an immersive and dangerous world built using Unreal Engine 5, which, I mean, man, if you want to see UE5 plus some, like, stylization and stuff, oh boy, what Frost Giant have is so cool. I've seen some of that too, and we're all in for a treat. But it aims to deliver the ultimate experience of playing core RPG classes with unique class-specific gameplay and role-defining character art. They're also looking to redefine the standard RPG combat system by implementing an immersive third-person camera and then with melee combat and spells that is all geared towards an engaging multiplayer PvPvE experience. It's really cool. It's really cool. They're trying to take a lot of lessons and sort of take them forward into a new era where they can start off with a smaller team, big, super sexy new engine with Unreal Engine 5, and I mean, man, it's going to be cool whatever comes out of this. Now, as a part of that, OTK, which, I mean, of course, you'll know Asmongold, that, you know, OTK is the org. They are I believe, is it technically a strategic investor, but they're working, you know, decently close, which is really cool. I know for a fact that Chris views community as being absolutely to the core, of what they did, or what they're doing. Like, we reached out to the OTK guys, reached out to me last year, we had some really good conversations, and, they get it. They get it. They're doing it for the community, trust me. Now, they do not consider this to be an MMO, but they do state that it's a game that may have elements typically found in MMOs, such as fantasy setting, classes, PvE, and PvP experiences. I think I know a little bit of a slice more, but, you know, I'll hold off. I always have stuff, you know, for them. But I'll make it clear, I definitely do have a bias towards what they're doing. I think it's a pretty awesome vision. I think if they nail that vision, we are going to have in our hands a very Moorish, highly playable game, the sort of one you could play with your guild. I kind of, you know, if it succeeds, I kind of know vaguely a sort of a space it's going to be in, and I think it's one I'd find to be super exciting to play with my friends on Discord. I would also say, just tone and like world-wise, whenever I was talking with him, Chris kept on emphasizing like core fantasy, you know, like OG WoW stuff, like what Samwise and Chris, you know, Chris Metz and, you know, what they were setting up. They all love Lord of the Rings over there. I saw a wizard, and like the wizard concept art they showed me was like so cool, and I was like, man, that's a fucking wizard. I think there's serious potential there. Another thing, then, from the ex-Blizzard folks is Frost Giant. Man, Frost Giant, they have unveiled. I mean, like, dude, it's the spiritual successor to StarCraft 2, in my opinion. Now, StarCraft 2 is one of my true loves of gaming. I adore StarCraft 2. Frost Giant are many of the people who built StarCraft 2, and I think pretty bloody evidently, considering Team 1 seemingly was just wound down at Blizzard. Like, there was no more StarCraft going on at Blizz. It's probably not what the Bobster wanted to make. Maybe that'll be different in a world where Microsoft owns Blizzard, but I do know is, you know, these guys, they've assembled a real crack team. What they have got is super, super exciting. I don't have time to squeeze it all in today's video, but I did get up to speed with their press briefing a few days ago. They've done their big reveal and announcement at Summer Games Fest, Jeff Keighley's event, and me and Matt are working a video. I will share everything that I know on what they're doing on that channel. Suffice to say, it is awesome. Whenever I started to get this like feeling that StarCraft 2 would no longer be supported, I kind of felt like, oh no, a little bit of my childhood's dying. This is really sad. And now I can quite clearly see that they do not intend on letting that part of my childhood die. And that is very good. And look, across both companies, loads of guys who are like viewers of this channel, viewers of the other channels you watch. You know, the StarCraft guys like Loquo, Winter. Awesome group. They're keeping it real. They all know the community. They love community. They're making games for the community. They're the real deal. So just exciting stuff is on the horizon. There's been tough times with Blizzard. Obviously, what I want is for Blizzard to recoup, for their stuff to be in a way better position, so we can all get the World of Warcraft that we really want to love, and that also, now that these guys are, you know, they've smaller teams, a little bit more freedom, go make something cool, new, different, but also kind of like what we want. It's just a really nice place. And it's one of those things, you know, whenever there's trouble, you know, maybe there's a forest fire or whatever, it's nourishing to the soil, you know, and new life springs forth from that. And it takes a few years for that new life to, you know, to take root and to flourish, but it does happen. And, you know, even from seeing some of the public things both companies put out, like, man, in game development right now, in that, like, region in California, it is competitive business. Like, just getting people, like, actually getting talent, growing these teams. It's a real crazy time, and it just kind of shows how much activity is going on in game development right now. So, I mean, there you go. I also, I guess, should probably mention, staying with the OTK Expo, we were at that as well with our game. And that does mean that our demo is up until the end of the weekend, and let me tell you, it was very fucking surreal having the Pale Beyond up there with, I mean, just Rich and Asmigel talking about our game. Really cool. Very cool moment. I was actually on a night out with the local games industry with a whole bunch of our game team, so we were there, a few pints in. We were huddled around, viewing my phone, watching OTK Expo in the smoking area of Cuckoo. Belfast, people. You will know what's up there. And watching Twitch. So, you know, there we are, watching Twitch in the bar, like a bunch of game developers. How embarrassing. It was great stuff. Okay, you know the drill. Wishlist the game in Steam. It helps us, and the demo is live. 1.5 to 2.5 hours of gameplay that, assuming you're using an ultra-wide monitor, is pretty damn polished, but there will be bugs, and the reporting of them is super useful to us because we're indies. We have a really small budget, actually, so, you know, any bug info, very appreciated. All right, let's move on. Heading back to World of Warcraft, we've got some Drakthir activity. So, a few weeks back, right, one Drakthir spell effect was data mined in the 9.2.5 files. That was confusing. Well, now it's been re-encrypted with the same encryption key that is being used for what are assumed, the assumed Dragonflight pre-order Emerald Drake mount. So, will this Drakthir spell effect be used perhaps for the mount up? Or the mount special animation for the Emerald Drake? Maybe it could be a part of the Heroic or Epic Edition Hearthstone animation. I think that could be quite sensible. Now, there's actually a ton of other encrypted models that are still in the game files, including various transmog sets, mounts, pets, and toys. I imagine there'll be a Wrath of the Lich King, classic sort of bundle of things as well. There's also the yet unanswered question of the stables. Remember, I covered this in a few videos, right? The stables and the little story that was going on with in and around the stables that mysteriously appeared in both Stormwind and Orgrimmar during the 9.25 PTR, but, 9.2.5 is live, and I can't see that stuff when I log into the game, so I imagine you can't, which means it's probably going to be part of the Dragonflight pre-patch. Next then, we have actually got a little bit of the Burning Crusade Classic news, which is important because it's probably Blizzard, getting ready as well for when we're transitioning over to Wrath Classic. But earlier this week, Blizz said that they would be consolidating a total of 22 NA and 21 EU TBC Classic servers. Yeah, they will basically be retired and no longer accessible after August 9th and 10th. Quite a move. Now, all the affected realms have currently got free character transfers available to multiple active destination realms, and Blizzard are strongly recommending that players actually do make use of these free transfers before that deadline, because basically, if you let the deadline roll around, characters that are not manually transferred to the other realms are going to be automatically transferred. But it seems that for some, it's server stuff, so it's all spooky wizardry, that if those characters are automatically moved, they might actually be unavailable for up to 2 weeks, which is really kind of rough. So there's that. Now, as a part of this, they're removing restrictions in those coming weeks. As an example, they're allowing characters to be transferred from normal to PvP realms. Yeah, and they're actually allowing characters from both factions to be on the same PvP realm, which is a pretty big difference. They say they'll confirm all the details closer to the time. As for some speculation, I don't know, man. I saw linked some, it was like kill counts, just like parse counts of the Sunwell raid. And they were massive. Loads of people doing Sunwell. Now, I later found out apparently a lot of people in China are doing that, so maybe TBC Classic is really caught on in the Chinese market. That would make sense. I mean, World of Warcraft, especially in those earlier days, it was humongous in China. They love World of Warcraft as well, so seemingly it caught on a lot there. And these consolidations are for EU and NA servers. I don't know, does that mean it's a bit smaller in EU and NA? I'm not exactly sure. To be honest with you, it's been very hard for me to find the time. I will say, though, that Matt and Jared and our team are really having an absolute blast playing TBC Classic right now. They're, of course, getting ready for Wrath. So, hard to say. If you're playing Endgame in some of these servers, let me know what your experience is like. I do know that these servers have had a lot of problems with RMT. They've had a lot of problems with bots just being able to farm vast quantities of raw gold. This has led to inflation, a whole bunch of craziness, EPGP massively taking over, meaning that for a lot of people it very much is pay to accelerate your experience, and a bunch of things that I think are very unfortunate and absolutely need to be solved in time for the full launch of Wrath of the Lich King Classic, because, come on, it's Wrath, it's my baby. I started, earlier, but really Wrath is when I came into my own, so if it's saddled with these problems, I'll be sad. We'll have to see. And then just to wrap things up for the end of today's video, I want to just mention in the live game. So, I'll tell you what my current project is. Kind of playing WoW on a controller, on a TV. I know, it's a bit different. I'm only in the early stages. I've got my UI set up. I've got a Dark Iron Dwarf, because they're really cool. And, man, I'll tell you what. Just, I've got speakers on, right? The lights in my apartment, they're all dim. It's one of those TVs, Ambilight, I think. It's got lights at the back of the TV that, it's a really cool feature, actually. It just kind of makes things pop. I love it. got lucky in a, I mean, I say I got lucky in a Black Friday deal. I mean, those aren't really deals half the time. But anyway, it's a pretty cool immersive experience and a new way to feel World of Warcraft. And I gotta say, just running around, like barely even doing quests, but just rambling about the place on my Dark Iron Dwarf with, you know, a massive, big, immersive picture, just chilling out with a controller, you know, the beautiful music, even just running through Dunmoreau, of course, the place where the, well, you know, what has been the end music for every video on this channel for 6, 7, 8 years. Uh-oh, time is passing. It's from Dunmoreau. It's just been a really nice experience. So fully my intent is to head over to, well, I mean, come on, man. It's gotta be the Howling Fjord. Gotta go to the Howling Fjord and just try to do like a nice, you know, immersive, just completely chilled out leveling up of that character. And eventually I'll get over to my Blood Elf so I can do the new quest line. Because, you know, with the fated raids and stuff that are coming in Season 4, I have zero desire to play the endgame content right now. I'm just going to do it whenever, you know, I can head back to those WoD dungeons, you know, etc., right? So I'm just going to wait till Season 4 for any of that stuff. And just kind of chill now when I can get a little bit of the time. I've really been enjoying it. And also, funny enough, I saw the tweets of Mike Ybarra, who's the, of course, the president or leader, whatever, of Blizzard. And I noticed he was playing mobile games with this, the Backbone, sort of game controller thingy. Basically, you know, kind of, your phone clips into it. Definitely a bit more pricey, but I've got to say the build quality, like, really has impressed me. What I want to do, though, right, is, you know, Steam in-home streaming? What you can do is you can add the WoW EXE to Steam, and then I think I could stream it to this. And then I could basically see what World of Warcraft would feel like on a handheld device. Which, I mean, it's partially blasphemy, but for me, it's like, can I get, you know, with duct tape and jank, some weird tech setup to work as a proof of concept? If I can, I really want to give it a shout. So I might even try this on my Dark Iron Dwarf, you know, as well. Other than that, I've been playing Diablo Immortal for review. Heavens above, save me. Hey man, look, Diablo Immortal, what can I say? It looks beautiful, it plays super slick, it plays amazingly a controller. But like, dude, every time I do a dungeon, a new bundle pops up. And Night Stalker is a long-time viewer of this channel, and you know, real hero. He always, if he finds something cool, he sends it my way. And he just sent me a screenshot, I think, from his game, and it was just that he got to Hell 1 difficulty at like post-game in Immortal, and you know that it was like the 89p bundle, or you know, one of the pretty cheap bundles for the earlier dungeons, or for one of the dungeons. Just at this time, it was $49.99 because it was the Hell 1 edition of the bundle. Aww. But I'll tell you what, though. Initially, I saw like Wyatt Cheng, the game director for Immortal. He was like liking some tweets. He responded to actually another guy from Belfast, who does a lot of ARPG content and, you know, is obviously criticizing aspects of Immortal from a monetization perspective. And just all of a sudden, Wyatt has not touched Twitter. Now, I don't know if that's because the internet is not a nice place to be if you're the game director of Diablo Immortal and, you know, people have basically realized that it's all a complicated cash extraction scheme, and it basically represents, you know, the infernal forces of evil and hell infiltrating video games, which is pretty on topic for Diablo, so I guess immersive at the very least. You know, probably not the friendliest place, but perhaps it's because that team has just kind of went into crisis mode because maybe they've realized the internet is onto them. I don't know. I think we all accepted that there would be some iffy stuff with Immortal, right? I think we all knew that. But I think we thought that because the Blizzard name was carried on it, that it wouldn't be that bad. I mean, Warcraft Arc Like Rumble? It ain't that bad. Like, yeah, it's a mobile game monetization, but it's Blizzard does a king game in terms of monetization. Whereas, man, this whole situation with Immortal, like, it truly is a NetEase game. And I just have to wonder, like, were they overruled on something? Did it go to NetEase, not enough Blizzard? And maybe now there's a bunch of people at the company who are basically just saying, hey, told you so, told you this would happen. I don't know, but it just seems that, like, there's been not a peep from Blizzard on Diablo Immortal over the last little while. maybe that means we've got through to them. But I'll tell you what, you know, gonna keep up the good fight. Because we have to defend gaming. I realized something decently, I think, a little bit profound earlier on. Because, of course, whenever I first started playing video games, it was like Warcraft 3, you know? You bought it, and then you bought the expansion if you liked the base game. And there was no tomfoolery. It's pretty sweet. And then Horse Armor happened. I was there when it happened. And then I've been there for everything since. But what I realized, and what a few younger viewers who've left comments on our videos, they've said like, oh man, I grew up with this. The first time I started playing video games, these transactions were here. And what I've realized is that if we let this catch on in the PC realm, it will become the new normal for younger gamers. And there you go. And it's going to be in this like hyper fast world that it's just designed to deplete your dopamine. You know, it's just everything in the world is just giving you a hit, giving you a hit, giving you a hit, giving you a hit. You feel deprived. The pace of the game slows down. You get a pop-up to buy something so that you can hop back into that greater, or, you know, that rift with a bunch of crests. And, you know, bam, you get your dopamine hit again. The psychologically abusive, evil, manipulative stuff. And we're in this world where the media is just bam, 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 bam. TikTok is just bright noises, bright, you know, fast, 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 fast. Everything is just a constant audio-visual assault. You know, they're reaching through. You know, like, is it Temple of Doom? You know, fucking your man sticking his hand in and ripping his heart out. It's like they're doing that to your brain, and they're just like massaging various bits of your brain. That's what all these games are doing. All this media is what it's doing, right? I mean, goddamn YouTube. And I know some of this is a bit of a, you know, hate the game, not the player. But, I mean, YouTube is like practically old man stuff now in comparison to TikTok. Everything's so attention grabbing. We're also like dopamine depleted in this hyper engaging, overstimulating world. And then we play these games and they hyper stimulate us, give us loads of good deals up front, you know, nice, fast progress. But then it's Diablo Immortal. You hit level 50 and the grinding to just get your next level takes so long that even though you can't like literally buy XP, you feel it in your brain. This thing saying, you could do a few greater rifts with legendary crests, and then you get some cool new legendary abilities, or, you know, legendary, you know, gems or whatever, or maybe you could get some cool loot, or whatever it is. And, you know, you could actually get some really rewarding experiences now. You just have to buy. Or, hey, what about all those bundles you just unlocked like 5 minutes ago? Or, you know, 3 hours ago, but you didn't feel you needed them then. But now that we've slowed the pace down, you need to hit. Buy the hit. And I just kind of realized that if we let this catch on, I mean, I can't exactly say the children of you know, maybe I'm like, well, 28 in like 2 days. The 12th of June is my birthday. You know, so I'm not quite having, I'm not old enough to have kids that are going to be playing video games, but I know for some of you watching, like maybe your kids will just be getting into video games. And I just had this like profound realization that what video games are going to be to them is like so different to what it was to you and me. And, you know, maybe Halo 1 was your first Halo game, or Halo 2 was my first Halo game, but we all grew up when games were games. You bought your games, that was that. It was all nice and simple, and the expansion packs came out and they were sweet. And now we're just seeing the encroachment of the bullshit. So, yeah, I suppose that's a very long way of me talking about Diablo Immortal, which is the other thing that's been, you know, sort of sapping me this week. But hey, it is what it is. I've now dragged out the end of the WoW news to, quite frankly, a ridiculous level. So I'm going to draw it to a close. I'll just say there's hype as hell stuff going on with us right now. All the game development stuff is awesome. Tomorrow morning, I've got a really cool meeting, and hopefully the fruits of what will eventually follow from that, hopefully that's the kind of thing I'll be able to talk to you about in maybe 6 months, maybe 9 months, but trust me, it's going to be really good. We've got a new guy starting on Monday. He's total legend. He's going to be helping us out in the news channel. It's just going to be awesome. So your support is just so invaluable, and even seeing situations like being, you know, being in the selection for the OTK Games Expo. I mean, you guys make that possible. You know, we'd be nowhere without you. So, yeah, it's just a lot of stuff's going on, and it's kind of overwhelming, but it's also really exciting. And pretty damn soon, we are going to have a new World of Warcraft alpha. And you know what? I'm feeling pretty good about things. I think the WoW team has been pretty real about some of their problems. I think some things have been moving in the right direction. And to be honest with you, there is nothing that I want more than for World of Warcraft to just be a few years of happy times. Don't we all want that? Have a great day. Goodbye.